Mounce, BBG, chapter 25, sentence 8. Obviously, starting here with this post-positive day, you're going to pull that out front and say something like and or but. Then you have a this, and you see that it's feminine, but then before you say this woman or this person or this one, you want to see if there's, you have this equative verb. So, the text a lot of times will spell that out so that all you have to say is this. And that's the case here where you have, and this is, and then, they gave you the noun here, the judgment, and you see that that's feminine, so that's what is lining up with haute, okay? That also, of course, makes this a predicate nominative, and that's why it's in the nominative, because of that equative verb and the fact that this is in the predicate. So you have both of those in the nominative. All right, so and this is the judgment, that, and what is the judgment? It is that, the light, and then you have this strange verb, which you may not recognize, and you might want to think of it. Your mind might go to something like laleo or something like that, but it's actually the perfect form of erikamai. So it's just another one of those strange verbs that you just kind of have to know what you're looking at in this case. However, once you recognize this form and you know that it's from erikamai, then you can look at this epsilon nu and you can say that that's got to be a third singular, so you're home that way. You also are going to again recognize that it's perfect, so the light has come, right? Translating it as a perfect. Into the world should be easy enough for you. And if I were to ask why kosmon is in the accusative with that nu, your answer would be because it's the object of the preposition ace, which can take the accusative, correct? So the light has come into the world, and here's your obvious subject for the next clause, right? After you break it up with the kai. So men, and then you have your next verb here where, hopefully you see that eta, you recognize it's from agapao. So, that part's pretty easy. Then when you see the eta, you know that that's your augment. And then you see the san, which tells you it's got to be third plural, which will also line up with hoi anthropoi. So men love, this is going to be a simple aorist, of course. Again, once you see that augment and that ending, you've got an aorist third plural, right? So men loved, rather or more in this case is the way we would probably say it, but and then they give you this noun, darkness, and again, it's rather than, right? So they love the darkness rather than, or you could say men loved the darkness more than the light. That's easy enough. Okay, so you just have to line up with that malon and figure out how that works with that than there. So you're gonna again do a little bit of a gymnastics thing, but men loved darkness rather than or more than the light. Okay, so then your next sentence, you got a post-positive gar, you're going to pull out, put at the front, and then you have this third singular, right, from a me. So, it, he, she, or it was, right? Well, then you're looking for a subject, and you say, it was of them evil the works. And once you see these alphas, you know that you're looking at plurals. So very strange thing. Hopefully what you recognize with this, though, is if you remember your order of adjectives, when you have adjective, article, noun, and again, I'll just do it one more time, adjective, article, noun, when you have that particular order, what that tells you is that this panera here has to be a predicate adjective. Its position in that string means that it is a predicate adjective, okay, because it does not have the article before it. So what that means to you is that this has to be the subject, but that doesn't line up. At least at first glance, it doesn't line up. But what you find is that in Greek is very, very common if you have a plural neuter subject, that it will often take its noun in the singular. Sort of like when we use a noun like my family is, and family is more than one person. Or our group is going to the, and we treat group as though it's one thing, even though it's certainly more than one person in the group. So, English does that kind of thing in several instances. And again, the idea here is with neuter, when you have a neuter plural, which you have here as your subject, that it can take a third singular verb here. Okay. Again, the heiress from Amy. So, Amy. And so what you're going to do here is, knowing that this is your predicate adjective, you're going to say for the works of them, and you got to translate it as a plural, because in English we don't do that. When we talk about works, we don't talk about works as a group. So you're going to have to translate this as a third plural instead of third singular. Were evil, and then that makes your panera the predicate adjective. So one more time from the beginning, and this is the judgment that the light has come into the world, and men loved the darkness more than the light, for the works of them, or their works, were evil.